episode 5, using up your envelopes. I am taking one off the top. This is a 3-parter. I'm only going to be doing one piece of it today. And then as the other pieces make logical sense, I will do those as well. You want an envelope that's fully intact. You don't want it if it's sealed down. Well, you can. It just eliminates the third piece to this. If this is already glued down, you only get to use the front and the back of the envelope, where if it's open, you get to use this piece as well. So I'm going to start and this, Gail Augustinelli did this the other day, and I went, I never thought to do it with the tab open. So first things first is I'm going to pull this off. And this is going to go into my book, and it's going to hang and wait its turn. Now you're going to do all 3 sides that are left to separate these 2 pieces out. Come on. My blade is getting dull. Clean out the little trimmer dude. So then you have this piece, which we'll use at a later date and time, and then you have this piece. This is double thickness, so I do tear those off if I can. And I tear that off. I personally, sometimes you have envelopes like, let's see if I can find an example of one. So like this, where you have this big deep V. You have to decide how you want to deal with this. Do you want to leave it as the V, which makes really cool looking wraparound pockets? You just have to finagle that edge a little bit more. And who knows, maybe I'll just do 2 of them. I'll just wrap them around the same page. So we have this piece here. Which would be free if my trimmer had cut it. The toes didn't land on my foot. Okay, and as always, I'm going to be collaging with the insides of other envelopes. Now, for me, I've seen people do this and do this rounded corner. I don't like doing it that way, which means I actually need this still. You could do this if you don't have a paper trimmer. I like to just angle this a little bit differently. So I come in and I just trim that off right there, if my paper is going to allow me to do it. So I'll have to do some repair there when it comes time. Told you my blade was getting dull. like so. Then you kind of have a straight edge, a straight edge, and a straight edge. This one's some straight across. It does have a little bit of curving on the end, which I'll address when we get to it. Okay. So again, we're gonna let's do the collaging. Looking around going, where did I put? Now these are going to be pockets, so you do want to reinforce that upper edge in one form or another, whether that's wrapping things over the top or putting extra fabric or extra paper along the back side. You're not going to see it, but it'll be there. So for this one, I'm going to line it up flat, flush with this edge over here. You don't, these edges are going to be glued down. They don't have to be reinforced. But this is going to be the top of your pocket, so things are going to be going in and out. So you do want to reinforce that. So I'm gonna do the collaging simultaneously. Okay. I'll show you how to do this angle one. I'm gonna come down just a smidge. But remember, it's really tall up here and not down here. So here's where my triangle changes direction. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to make a couple snips. Kind of like, if you sew, you make like little relief cuts so that your fabric can go in different directions. Just like that. And it is still a little not straight. There we go. Straighten that out just a smidge. And I'm going to trim that off just because it's in my space. It will bug me. Glue that down the rest of the way there. Okay, there's that piece. And we got this. Trim out the little dotty dots that I may end up having to actually get into some new envelopes. So this one is still on the angle, so it's just gonna fold in like so. Trim it as I go. I'm going to take this one. You don't have to worry about the bottom down here. It doesn't have to wrap around if you don't want it to. I would recommend not, because otherwise you're going to have stuff for your tags or whatever you put in there to get hung up on. bit of the envelope left over here. Put this down the center here. Maybe. Let's go over here. Okay. Then we have this angle that we got to deal with again. So we're going to snip in toward where it changes direction. Give it an extra snip there. So that way this piece can fold in that direction. This one can fold in that direction, and this one can fold that way. See, and it gives you that space in between. How did that piece not get glue on it? That one didn't really get glue either. So there's that. Let's see, we got another long piece of this one. Ooh, that didn't work so well. Everything that was underneath it decided, don't want to tear. Again, this is the bottom down here. I am just going to scoot it over just a little bit because I don't want those two to line up straight. I don't want them to create a straight line there. And then what do? I'm going to put this over there where it causes a straight line. Yep. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Again, wrapping that over across the top. My glue pages. Looking, there we are. I'm like, I know there's more stuff over here. Let's tear this one with a little bit more delicacy here. Because it is the back of the envelope, so it's got the little flappies. That's what happened with that last one. It separated the flap instead of tearing the flap. That one fits perfect right there. Sorry, I just got a weird sensation in my ear. It's like, whoa. It's kind of crazy. It sounded like a helicopter was in my ear. Doing projects like this is how I get super, super gluey. You see me on some of my other videos sometimes where I'm like, you know, rubbing my fingers trying to get glue off. It's usually because I've done a project, something like this. Okay, now that top edge is good. Stay down, please. Just got that just that little bit there, and these two little pieces here. this one. I'd like it to go up there, but then, okay, I'm doing it. Not gonna argue with it. Okay. Just down a little bit. Moved it over because it was gonna be creating straight lines again. So give that a trim so that that one can go in the opposite direction. We got the front or the top edge is done. I don't know how I constantly lose stuff on my desk. I wonder. I'm lost. Why is my stuff lost? Wonder if my Reddit fan is still watching me. Used to have somebody from Reddit that would never comment on my YouTube, which is most likely because they would identify themselves and they didn't want anybody to know who they were, especially me, the person that they were bad mouthing on Reddit. But just want that black right there. You want the dark one. But I haven't seen them make a comment about me on Reddit since I deleted my Reddit account. But okay. Can't get all that plastic off, so I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to do some right here. It will. Okay. Okay, and we got one more piece here. Offset just a smidge. Okay. So now if you remember, these two corners were arcs when I started. So if you want that look again, you can. You just use, you could trim them yourself. And if you're OCD and you need them to be the same, do like I was doing on the last one, fold them together and cut together. If you have a paper punch, hopefully that's not right on the fold. you have a paper punch, you can use that, because then they're gonna be the same arc or the same angle or whatever, because you're not resetting this and changing the setting. This is gonna stay straight on both, pointy on both sides. So all you're gonna do with these is you're gonna fold them in half. Fold it in half. And then when you go to use your journal, so I'm gonna pull this off temporarily because I'm using this page for the wraparound stuff. So you glue this onto the page. You're gonna glue down the bottom. You can put glue in the center if you want. It's not always necessary. But if you're going to do it, only do it on one side, is my recommendation. So across the bottom, up the side. Stick it up against the page. Give it a smoosh, and that's gluing this pocket down on this side. Then you're going to open this back up. You're going to go bottom or side, across the bottom. Get that pressed down. So then you end up with a pocket here and a pocket here. So one on this side, one on this side. And it wraps around your page as one piece. This is, the glue is sticking. Didn't realize I had glue on there. Rub some of that glue off. That is what I like about the silicone glue, is that, you know, it does rub off like that. And then same thing with this, but you see you've got a different shape of the pocket. So again, going across the bottom, up the top, up the side, and if you want, just a little bit down the center there. This one I'm going to get down here on the very bottom of the page. Come on, straight, thank you. And then this bottom, up the side. Now, when we were talking in the last video about losing real estate, you do lose the real estate with the glue line on these. The only way to avoid that would be to create a little gusset to go in there. So these are two different wraparound pockets that are created by the back side of an envelope. So you got one there, you got one here. And you wouldn't normally put these on the same page. I'm just doing this for the idea book. So different style pockets. And then of course you decorate the pocket with whatever, you know, with whatever you want, whatever decoration you want. And usually for me, I prefer to wait until I'm using the piece to put any decoration on it, because I want it to match whatever journal I'm working in. And I find that if I decorate it ahead of time, it really limits the use, because it's got a specific design and decoration to it. So I wait until I'm done. But there you go. That is episode 5 on using your envelopes in your junk journals. And this was using just the back half, the back part of the envelope to make wraparound pockets. I'm going to put this over the page flipper back on. I had to take it back off so I could take pictures. And the reason I chose to put these on this is because this page was already being dedicated to the flip, so I figured I might as well add flip pockets there as well. So there we go. There's week 5, and I do believe that this concludes the month of November as well. So let me know in the comments below if you're enjoying what you're watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Peace out.